So joined by Graeme Souness, and I suppose one of the first things I want to ask you is, you've already spoken before about how players seem to be dictating dressing rooms too much now, and management and stuff, and the stuff we're seeing in Manchester United going on at the moment. What would your opinion be on that?
There's obviously, games evolved. The dressing room, the players have a far bigger say in what goes on today than ever before. I think what I do would encourage them to have an opinion more. What we pundits talk about. But the world's changing. I don't think it's the only workplace where that relationship has changed, where the employees have more of a say. I think Man United have a problem right now. It's not a happy ship. They have a player who would appear to want away from there, and you've got a manager who's now seems to be having a very difficult relationship with his directors. So 2 games in, there's talk of him losing his job. He shouldn't. That should not even be a conversation. They finished second last year, but I think the damage they've done to themselves is self-inflicted. When you look at, Pogba making noises before a ball's kicked about wanting to go to Barcelona, if not him, certainly his agent, and the agent wouldn't be saying that unless he had it okay from the player. And then the manager falling out with his bosses because he wasn't getting the players he wanted. So they go to Brighton at the weekend, having won their first game, go to Brighton, lose, and now all the criticism, all the focus is on them, and a lot of it is self-inflicted.
You could argue, to be devil's advocate, the bosses are probably saying, well, you've had enough money, you've done enough, now it's time for you to work with what you have and stop whining publicly.
That's exactly how it's panned out. He bought Lindelof and he bought Bally, and they spent a lot of money on those two, and then he wants another centre half, and you've also got Jones and another England centre half there. So you've got 4 centre halves to choose from, and you want to buy another one. And I can understand the frustrations that the board would feel at that. But I think the way Mourinho's gone about it, it's allowed people to look at the situation and stir the pot up for them. Man United right now are the focus of lots of negative publicity, and I think the manager is to blame for some of it, and Pogba and his agent have something to blame for it. 2 games in, and you talk about a manager losing his job. It's ridiculous.
Does that infect the dressing room as well then? Oh
yeah, and some. If I'm a player in that dressing room and there's someone obviously wanting to leave, I'm not happy with him. 2 games in, when you should be buzzing, excited about what's coming down the track, it's all negativity surrounding Man United. That's not what they need or what they want right now, 2 games in.
One team that has had a very good run the last few seasons under Jurgen Klopp is, of course, Liverpool, your own alma mater. Now, has the time come for Jurgen to actually deliver some silverware?
Yeah, well, the minute you walk through the door at Liverpool, you're expected to get trophies. But I think now, I'm slightly surprised that they're not sort of playing up their potential to win something. It's all about, no, we're not ready, we're not. Well, I think they are ready. I think they've got a really good team, and they have a squad as well, not just a starting 11. So I can see them coming close, if not winning something this year. Get the new goalkeeper will improve them greatly if he is a real deal. I think he looks like it so far. Got more midfield players to choose from now, slightly different types, maybe more creative types than the workaholics they have in Henderson, Wijnaldum and James Milner. And you've got that front 3 that will cause anyone problems. So I think Liverpool are particularly strong. But I emphasise, it's not just the starting 11. They've got some strength and depth now. So I think when you look at them, I think this could be the start of a decade where they could be winning trophies on a regular basis.
The noises they have been making about how we're not ready, we're still working towards it.
By that.
Yeah, I was wondering, is that maybe a public thing they're trying to do to dampen down expectations, or do they actually believe it themselves? Which they do, you'd be kind of worried.
No, I think quietly they'll really fancy themselves. I get playing down the optimism that your supporters feel because you've gone out and signed big players in the season you had last year, but they also want to hear the manager say we're ready. They also want to hear now's our time. And I get it from the manager's point of view that you're preparing them for the disappointment, but also I've worked in Liverpool, they want to believe they're the team now, and I think the manager really believes it, but he chooses to go down a different road to the one I would go down. I'd be exceptionally optimistic about their chances this year.
The trouble is, of course, they're in the Premier League with Man City being in the way they are in recent seasons. If Liverpool, say, were to finish second to them, would that be seen as a failure?
Well, they've not won anything for a long time, Liverpool. They finishing second to Man City, which would be most people's opinion. I think for Man City to win it, they're going to have to finish in front of Liverpool. I think they'll be the two outstanding teams this year, given the football they play and how easy they find it is to score goals. Liverpool, hopefully, with Van Dijk coming last year, and a new goalkeeper, will stop conceding as many goals. I think we witnessed a bit of that at Crystal Palace, that they can dig results out. Would it be a success or a failure? I would take it as success. I think, if you get into the final of a European Cup, or maybe win a League Cup or a FA Cup, finish second, have a decent run, semi-final, final of the Champions League, yeah, that would be success. But ultimately, Liverpool have to win trophies. They've been a club that's always done that. Maybe they've been short on that in recent years, but they've always been a club that the supporters got used to winning lots of trophies.
Finally, we're here because we are talking about European competitions. If I was to ask you to get your crystal ball out now, who will be in the Champions League final?
Liverpool and Man City.
Why would you say that?
I think we saw from Madrid last week when they lost to Atletico, their football's still great. From the goalkeeper all the way through to the last third. The football was fabulous, kept it, had more of the ball than Atletico, but they were missing Ronaldo. That game changer, the ultimate game changer. So I see them in transition. I think Barcelona's so reliant on Messi. If he's not at it and he's not enjoying a good night, then they could find it difficult against the better teams. Atletico will be a different team. I think they've still got that ridiculous work ethic, which everyone takes part when they haven't got the ball. So they'll be a handful. I think Bayern Munich, who for me were better than Real Madrid in the two games they played Madrid last year. So they could be a threat again. But I just see those two, City and Liverpool, the brand of football, the quality they have, and the strength and depth, stand them in good stead in both the Premier League and the Champions League.